Oh yeah, welcome back to Skull Modeling Twins. Today we're going to look at what's the last of my wooden ships that I could show you. This is the Royal Yacht Caroline by Mantua Panart, same company. It's a 148 scale um, kit of the Royal Yacht that belonged to George III, and he sent it with a fleet of I think 3 other ships over to Prussia to pick up the soon to be his queen, so Princess. I've got it written here, Duchess Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz in Prussia, modern day Germany, and all that sort of stuff. And they had trouble picking her up. Actually, picking her up is not the deal. Getting back to England was a bit of a problem. So the fleet was blown over to Norway, from what I read, about 3 or 4 times before they made it into Harwich. Um, in what year was that? 1761. So it's a beautiful boat. It's as I say, it's a royal yacht, so designed as such. So it's got a royal cabin in the middle there. So yeah, all the viewing windows and everything else. It would have been absolutely ornate and everything else. Um, and yeah, it's very decorative, and it's a beautiful kit because it's got so much ornamentation all the way around, little cherubs and little, little sort of like things on the back there. It's beautiful, beautiful kit. Um, Now, what I'll do in my usual style, try to put it down without breaking it. Move it aside, and we'll look at the instructions and everything you get before go into the kit itself and problems I had with it and what not. So let's start with sheet one. Let's see. I'll change my camera. See how we go with this one. So all right, these are again quite large, about the size of a bed sheet, and these are all double-sided. So this is sheet one. Now I'll fold it in half. It might be easier this way. Right. It's quite simple. It's all sort of pictorial. All of this is in Italian. As you can see there, what you'd be able to do if you can literally just take an image with Google Translate now, or use the camera on a Google Translate app and just copy it and translate it and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I didn't really have trouble with it. It does come with a book, tells you in English, but it is a bit hard to follow because um, it's yeah, there's quite a lot of work involved in this one. You build up everything yourself, if that makes sense. Whereas the other ship I reviewed earlier today, I showed you, was the HMS Prince, where everything is pre-cast and little ornate decorations and everything are made of wood fibre. Everything in this is either metal and you just whack it on, or you have to build it yourself. So yeah, the diagrams are very simple, as in you can't really get it wrong. You've got frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, back to 10, 11 on the stern. Once you've got that, then you've got these other bits that go where the transom is. You shave off the front. It's pretty much the same as every other ship kit in that respect. On the forecastle, yeah, you put these wooden slats over the top of those frames there and then sand them down. Then later on, you actually cut away the frames. I'll show you that a bit later. So this is, yep, getting into, that's, 1-to-1 scale, so 148 scale kit. And they're the frames and where they are. And this is, the line of the top plank for each section and where it is and, what angle to put it on and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, once it's all, the frame is on, then you start planking it. Simply start at the top of the bulwark and just work your way down. And eventually you'll end up with this thing. So the hull will be complete. Oh, come on, focus, please. There we are. Yep, focus. Sorry, focus. The hull will be complete. Get out sandpaper, make it all smooth and everything else, and you can cut away the transom like that. So that's the first sheet. Now I'll flip it over to sheet 2. Okay, and again I'll fold it in half. So once you've got the hole done, you've got bits of paper, one bit of card you could stick along the side as a template, and that'll mark out, that comes in the kit, and mark out where the gun ports will be and the window frames. That works pretty well. Yeah, how to panel the beak head and all the other bits and pieces of dimensions to cut out for the windows. Yeah, on here is the sizes of, this is the rear of the royal cabin, so you got the stairway down into it where it's the main mast. Oh, sorry, is this the second? This is the third, so that's the mizzen, and where it goes in relation to it, X, Y, and Z are these sort of bits of wood, and you cut them out to suit. Yeah, getting onto the lower half. Yeah, how to make up all the window frames for the galleries, captain's cabin, and all that sort of stuff. You've got these arched windows, so you've got bits that are pre-cut round, but then you cut them in half and make them into that sort of shape with other bits of wood. And yeah, it's quite a bit of work involved in all that sort of stuff, but they look okay once it's done. And on this side again, it's the true scale top looking down where the guns are. The deck fittings, there's not much in the way of deck fittings. Most of this is you got basically just the pumps for getting rid of the water, and that's really about it. It's a good size, but you use that to gauge where everything fits. So that's sheet 1. Oh, sorry, sheet 1 and 2. Sheet 3 is getting into more of the detail and how to make up everything else. So this is very busy indeed. Lots of stuff there, and this took a while to build. Get to that in a moment. So here we go. So they have these ornate sort of around the deck little heads, if you like, and they're facing north, south, east, and west, and sort of like pacifying the gods and everything back in the day. Yeah, making up the stocks of the anchor. That's what 6x6 walnut, 3mm hole. Shave it to those dimensions and make it all up that way. Again, this is pointing to all the parts. How to fabricate everything. As I said, you make everything yourself out of these plans. These are drawn 1-to-1 scale. So 3mm by 5mm hole. These are the cat heads that support the anchors. How to fit them. Everything on this takes a while to build, but that's why we build them. And then the second half, the lower half, is putting together the capstan, the ship's lanterns, the flag staff at the rear. This is the hatch way in the rear quarterdeck. Again, this is the front of the royal cabin, how to fabricate the doors and everything else. The pin rails, yeah, you make all of it. Sheet 4 is all the rigging. Now, I'll try to fit that in. Yeah, no real surprises there. It does go into each of the scales of rope. If I zoom in, there we go. So you've got 80 meters of that'd be rope, thin, white. Well, yeah, light hemp sort of color, and then you've got the dark ones. 80 meters of that, 5 meters of that, 45 meters of that. There's quite a bit of rope. It shows where it all goes. Lots of arrows, 104, 33, 40. Yeah, it takes a while to build this all up. So that's sheet 4. Sheet 5 is, this has got a stain on it. You'll have to forgive me, but they were well used. Sheet 5. Again, huge. Lots of stuff, how to build up all of it. So yeah, that's that awful stain I was talking about. So how to build the staircases, the bits, how to build the trucks for the guns, the support for the ship's boat. Yeah, you build up absolutely everything. The skylight that goes in the rear of the cabin. This is plans. All this section is to build up the ship's boat itself. So it's a model in itself in that it's got the frames, and you plank it yourself. And this is probably for me the most difficult part of it, just because it's only that long, and to get all the wood to um, form and stay in those shapes around the bow and everything else. I've double planked my boat, so the first lot of planking is, forward aft along the bulwarks, and the second lot I've put it on a 45-degree angle. And basically, that made it sort of quite stable. But it took a while to build. It's literally that size. And the decorations for it, get a bit of brass, wrap it around a 2mm bit of wood, stretch it out like a spring, get a hammer and smash it flat. You don't do that anymore. Now, there's a later edition. It comes with, that's how it's meant to turn out. But it comes with a brass bit now that you just stick on. You don't have to do that bit there. How to put together the tops and the cross trees, bowsprit, and then going over the page. This is sheet 6. Is the last bit of detail stuff for rigging it and getting ready for putting rope everywhere. So if I could focus on that, there we go. So this is just a close-up view of if this is a standard yard arm, how to rig up the blocks onto the other bits of the stays, and then how to rig all the rope. There's quite a bit of that. So that is sheet 5 and 6. The last big one is the parts list. This is just single-sided. And this is, again, 1-to-1 scale. Everything you get in the kit, all the parts, and the numbers of them, the size of them, and you get them all and lay them out and make sure they're accounted for if you like. The smaller bits with the more detail there's quite a bit involved. You can see along the bottom there is all the side of the trucks for the guns. This is the ship's boat. This is different parts. So this is for the flag staff and all that gear. So that's quite helpful, that. But you use that one the least, which is why it looks virtually new compared to the other ones. And you get a book. So the booklet is, as you can see, Panart, trademark of the Mantua Model Company, Royal Caroline. Assembly instructions. So you've got pages of Italian. Then we get into the English one, and it can be there. It goes on for pages, but it's all over the place. And it's understandable. Like for the foremast chain wales, identify the 2 plywood chain wales with 5 holes. Check that the curved edge of each chain wale fits the curve of the hole where it's to be fixed. So it all reads well. It is you're jumping a lot between this and the drawings because there's not much here that relates to the drawings. There's lots of numbers there, for instance, all over the drawings. There's not so many numbers here. So some bits I was just trying to work it out. Actually, fact is you're going to be using the drawings more than this. And then, painting, as you know, it says all the inner bulwarks of the model are painted Pomeranian red, whilst the decorative panels are painted Azura blue. Optionally, the hull below the waterline may be painted white. Setting the ship absolutely level on the stand, use a pencil and block, and you do all that sort of stuff like that. You can buy a cradle, such as this part number here, and put it on the cradle assembly. Job well done. So I've not done that. In fact, it's still on the cradle that comes with the kit, so you can build it. As you can see, if I take that off there, it's quite a sturdy frame and everything else. I did plan to actually put this on, say, brass pillars. I've just never got around to it. So looking at the ship itself, it's quite heavy, it's quite chunky, and it's about 700 odd millimeters long. Where to start? So we'll just move around the ship. All the decorations are they're actually cast in gold. They're gold plated. What I have done though is paint them all gold myself. The main reason I did that is these decorative bits up here. That's like a CNC cut wood, um, and the gold on that and the blue I wanted to match this stuff. Now, this all the cherubs and all those decorations were so bright that there's no way I'd be able to get that to match. So I dulled these down. All the paint on this one wasn't model paint per se. It's literally the tubes that you'd get in paint shops. Yeah, well, yeah, as a for instance, that sort of stuff. And I just chose a blue, a gold, a white, and just painted it that way, and a red. And it's held. It's done pretty well. Whereas the previous one I painted up, all the decorations on the prints were in Humbrol gold, which is now they're really not gold at all. These have held their colour over the years, so it's quite a happy choice that I made there. The blue, in reality, it's probably meant to be a lighter blue than that. It's probably like a French blue. Well, this is more like a French blue, but it's probably meant to be more like that sponge. I preferred a darker blue myself, so I just painted it how I wanted. The guns are all I rigged them as well as I could, but yeah, it's quite busy. There's rope everywhere, and you can see under the bulwarks on the sides here. I've made up some little triangles of brass monkeys and bought some cannonballs and filled them up. So it's quite detailed in there. The deck fittings, what this kit doesn't have, it's got say the pin rails, belaying pins, and all that sort of stuff where the ropes terminate, but it doesn't have cleats per se. So what I've got is all these ropes that come down from the yards, go to the base of the masts, and they go through loops, brass loops on the deck, and then I've just got them coiled up and they're just sitting around the mast. In reality, they wouldn't be like that. It'll be a trip hazard and everything else. They'd be hanging on cleats, but there are no cleats provided in the kit, and I didn't want to. I just couldn't be bothered buying some. So I just basically roped it up the way it was in the kit, and as a result, there's rope, just hanks of rope everywhere. They're hanging off the pin rails on the forecastle there, but you still got at the base of the mast there should be cleats, I would imagine. But that's fine. It still looks all right. So the ship's lanterns are brass. Over the years, they've dulled down. They're no longer bright, but they were as bright as the gold originally, as you can imagine. And I've just put bits of it's just cellophane in there, red cellophane, as the lenses. So I could shine light through them, but yeah, you get the idea. No real surprise with anything else. The materials were really good. The kit itself is really good. I didn't have any problems with parts supplied, quantity. I did buy, I probably bought a bit of extra rope. I can't remember how much or whatever, but um, it's good quality rope as well, as you can see by the color and everything else. It has, it it's quite a bit of weight as well. It looks good from a distance, so it's quite busy and everything else, and I'm quite proud of it. This does have pride of place. This sits on top of my bookcase in the lounge, so it's up high, but it looks good because it's a good size. And again, from a distance, it looks, yeah, it's a nice looking boat. It's a very popular boat, from what I understand, in the ship modelling world because it's so ornate and it's a fairly reasonable price. I paid 600 Australian, but I bought it in 2005. It's now worth, checking the price, 970 Australian dollars. Um, so just under $1,000 from Model Central in Glenbrook, modelcentral.com. You can find it in other places. If you're in the UK, buy it from there. If you're in the US, buy it from there. But it's a, yeah, really nice kit. As I say, it took me a while to build it. Part of that was my job. So I bought in 2005 after my first Middle East tour with, the Australian Air Force and doing all that stuff. And I was going to build it, just enjoy it, savor the experience. It took a full 11 years for me to finish it because, well, the Middle East never slowed down and work was busy. So when I wasn't deployed, I was working quite hard to fix all these Hercules aircraft and everything else for everything. It wasn't just the Middle East, but everything Australia did, I was working hard. So, it was something to come home to and just play with on the side. And yeah, I'm really, yeah, it's a really nice build. My wife was very supportive because before I said I'd like to buy it, she said, "Yep, absolutely. I'll make the funds available and everything else." And yeah, it's absolutely value for money because, as I say, 11 years of building. Um, yeah, I didn't really ask for any plastic models in the meantime or anything at all. This is my focus. Raising kids and everything else as well. So I did all that. So hobbies have a wonderful way of waiting patiently over in the corner of the garage or a room or wherever until you're ready for them. I think, yeah, the money I spent on this kit, it was worthwhile. I got a lot of enjoyment from it, and I think, as I say, I think it. Well, you tell me. I think it looks wonderful. The shape of it and everything else, the decorations. It's a great looking model. You can't go far wrong with it. It's got a reputation of being a favourite with wooden ship modelers, and I'd highly recommend getting it. If you're looking at any ship model. Um, yeah, I wouldn't be too scared of tackling this one. If I could build it, anyone can build it, and all the skills from sail plastic modelling totally transferable into wooden chip modeling. You just need a couple of different tools. Make sure you have sharp blades is the only thing I would suggest. Um, so yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for paying attention. And I'll see you next time. Uru.